I never expected to see her barefoot. Sand between her toes, hair blown sideways by the salt wind, blouse clinging faintly to her skin. And still she held herself like she was behind a glass wall, above everything untouchable. Even here, even now, we'd crashed on this island just hours ago. A freak storm during what was supposed to be a quick site inspection flight. Now it was just the two of us. No signal, no rescue in sight, and the fading sun turning her cheekbones gold. And I didn't know what to do with how human she looked. Her name was Elena. Technically, Ms. Vargas if you were anyone but me. Mid-40s, brilliant, intimidating, the kind of woman who walked into meetings and made entire rooms lean back. I was just the junior project assistant. Fresh out of uni, still figuring out how to fold my sleeves right. But she remembered my name the first day. Always looked me in the eye. Now we were here, somewhere nameless in the Pacific, and all the walls we'd both built felt weirdly soft. She sat on a driftwood log, knees drawn slightly in, fingers busy untangling her necklace. "You okay?" she asked, without looking at me. I nodded, though my hands were still shaking from the crash. "Yeah, just hungry, maybe." She gave a tiny smile, just one corner of her mouth, and nodded toward the trees. "Then let's survive dinner. You're younger. You climb. Is that my job description now?" The banter came easier than I expected. Her laugh was low, unexpected. "It is until we get rescued." I found a few underripe bananas. A coconut I could barely crack open with a rock. She let me sit beside her when I brought it back. Close, too close probably. Her knee brushed mine once and neither of us moved away. She said quietly, "I'm not used to silence like this." I didn't answer. I didn't know if she meant the silence of the island or something inside her. There was so much I wasn't asking. Like, was she scared? Was she cold? Did she feel as strange as I did? Sitting here in this blur of ocean spray and sunset light, not boss and assistant anymore, just man and woman, breathing too near. I caught her looking at me once. Not by accident. Not in that professional way she always had. This was different. I didn't say anything. I just held it like a secret. Later, as the sky turned navy and stars started appearing through the cloud break, I started building a small fire with what dry branches I could find. She watched, arms folded, her voice low. "You're doing okay." I shrugged, not trusting myself to speak. Her compliment felt like it scraped something raw in me. Pride, or need, or just the way she said it, soft, almost personal. We sat on opposite sides of the fire, but every flicker of flame threw shadows that made her face look younger. Or maybe just less guarded. "You miss home?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. Then, "No one's waiting for me there." It shouldn't have hit the way it did. But something in the way she said it, not sad, just honest, made my throat tighten. I wanted to ask something else, but a gust of wind blew ash across us, and she stood suddenly. "Come on," she said, voice quiet. "Let's make shelter before it gets dark." I followed her without thinking. Just before we reached the palm grove, she stopped, turned slightly toward me. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "You don't have to call me Ms. Vargas anymore." And then she walked into the trees, her silhouette disappearing into moonlight and leaves, leaving me frozen, heart in my throat, wondering what exactly had just begun. I woke up before her. The sky was pale and gray-blue, the kind of quiet you only get before the world wakes. She was curled a few feet away under the lean-to we'd built, arms folded tight, hair falling across her face. She looked small, not fragile, she'd never be that, but tired in a way I hadn't seen before, like the armor she always wore had thinned overnight. I turned away before she opened her eyes. We spent the morning gathering what we could. Rain had come and gone, just enough to soak the leaves and leave us cold. I offered her the driest shirt from my bag, a crumpled old hoodie I didn't even think she'd take. She did. Slipped it on with a soft thanks. sleeves falling over her hands. Should have meant nothing. But seeing her in my clothes, even for a moment, rattled something in me I didn't know how to cage. We didn't talk much while we worked. Just glances, passing of twine, shared grip on the same branch, and silence that felt like it held more than noise could. Later, while the sun baked down and the fire smoldered low, we sat side by side on the sand, watching the water. She broke it first. "I was married," she said, just like that. "Long time ago. Didn't last." I turned my head slightly, trying not to stare. "Why?" She shrugged. "He wanted something I couldn't be. Or maybe I stopped trying. I don't know." She paused. "He used to say I didn't need anyone. Do you?" I asked. She looked at me, really looked, then gave a faint smile and didn't answer. And that hit harder than anything else she could have said. I wanted to tell her something, too. To say that I'd never had someone look at me the way she did. Like I wasn't just some kid in a blazer doing errands and sending spreadsheets. But I didn't. Instead, I said, "You remind me of someone." "Who?" "My professor. First year. She made me believe I was good at something I don't think anyone had before." Elena's eyes didn't move from mine. "So you like women who tell you who you are?" "Only when they're right." There was a beat, a shift in the air. Her lip twitched like she was about to say something sharp, but didn't. "You're too young to know who you are," she murmured. "Maybe, but I know how I feel." That made her go still. Too honest. Too much. She stood then, brushing sand off her legs, but before walking off, she did something I didn't expect. She reached down, her hand brushing my shoulder. Firm, brief, and almost nothing, but it lingered like fire. Then she said, "We should check the southern side of the island tomorrow. There might be signal." I nodded, but I couldn't stop thinking about the weight of her touch, and how it said everything her mouth wouldn't. The radio crackled to life late that afternoon. Just once. A burst of static. Then silence. But it was enough. Proof the world was still out there. Enough to change the air between us. She stood stiff, arms folded tight over the hoodie. My hoodie. Staring at the transmitter like it owed her more. "If they're close," she said, "we might not have much time here." She didn't look at me when she said it. Not much time here. Not much time like this. I pretended to check the antenna, but my hands were shaking. Not from fear. From knowing something was ending before it had even begun. That night we ate in silence. She sat across from me, legs tucked to one side, her bare shoulder lit by firelight where the hoodie slipped down. And something in me broke open a little more just looking at her. This woman who always had answers. Sitting here now with sand on her ankle, unsure of what to do with silence. "I keep thinking," I said suddenly, not knowing why I was speaking at all. "How weird it is that I wasn't even supposed to be on that flight." She glanced up. "It was Jason's assignment," I added. "He got food poisoning. I took his place." Her face softened. "Fate. Or bad sushi." She smiled, then just as quickly looked away, like it hurt, like she was scared of what was unfolding between us and how fast it was moving. "Elena," I don't know what I was going to say. Maybe her name was enough. She looked up at me, really looked, like she didn't want to, but couldn't help it. I leaned forward without meaning to. Not much, just enough to feel the shift. The breath between us shortening. Her eyes dipped to my mouth. We were close. Then she froze. "No," she said, standing too fast. "This can't. Elena." I said no. Her voice didn't match her face. Her voice was firm. Her face was torn. "You think I haven't noticed?" she said, her back to me. "You think I don't feel it too?" The fire popped. A branch snapped. "I'm twice your age," she whispered. You're barely my son's age." That was the first time she mentioned him. A son. I swallowed hard. "I didn't mean to make this complicated," I said. "But you did." And just like that, we were back inside walls. Sharp ones. She turned, ready to walk into the dark. But then another sound. A low hum. We both turned toward the trees, and there it was. A flicker of light. A boat. Offshore. Someone was here. Rescue, I said. She didn't answer, because something in both of us knew that the world was returning. And the island, the silence, the space between us was running out. The boat never made it to shore. Too far. No signal. A glimpse of hope swallowed by the current. We watched it vanish together, neither of us saying what we both felt. Disappointment and something else. Relief. It rained that night hard. The lean-to groaned under the wind. I woke to her beside me, curled tight, her shoulder pressed against mine for warmth. She didn't move when I opened my eyes. She only whispered, "I can't sleep." I didn't move either. Didn't dare. "I thought I wanted to go home," she said. "But now all I can think about is what I'm supposed to go back to. The noise. The pretending." I turned my face toward her. In the dark, I could barely make out her expression, but I could hear her, the crack in her voice, the truth slipping out in pieces. "I've spent years building walls," she said, "trying to be the strong one, the boss, the woman who doesn't need anyone. You don't have to be her now." She let that hang there. And then, "You make it hard not to feel something." I felt it before I saw it, her hand brushing mine, light, hesitant, like she wasn't sure she was allowed to touch me. I laced my fingers through hers without asking. We lay there in silence, just the wind and the storm and the closeness between us pulling tight like a thread. Then she pulled away, quick, abrupt. "I shouldn't," she said, sitting up. "You don't understand what this could cost me. Elena, you don't get it." Her voice was sharp now, shaking. "I've worked too hard to lose everything because I couldn't keep my hands off someone who barely knows what he wants." I sat up too. "Is that what you think? That I don't know what I want? You're 23. So one day you'll wake up and regret me." I stared at her, heart pounding. "No," I said. "You don't get to decide that for me." She turned away, breathing hard. Then I said it, the thing I hadn't dared until now. "I think about you all the time. Not just now. Not just here. I thought about you back in the office, when you'd walk past me and not even know I'd rearranged my entire week just to be on your schedule." That stilled her. "I thought about you when I dated other people," I said. "When I left parties early just to go home and scroll past your emails like they meant more than they should have." She faced me again, her face unreadable. "I don't care how wrong this looks," I said. "I care how right it feels when I'm near you." A beat passed. Her chest rose, breath caught. And then she stepped forward. Close enough that her breath hit my mouth. Close enough that if I moved, even slightly, the moment would shatter into something we couldn't undo. She didn't kiss me. Not that night. But she didn't step back either. We stood like that, breath mingling, eyes locked, until the fire dimmed and the cold crept in again. Then, with a soft whisper I barely caught, she said, "We should sleep." I didn't ask what held her back. I already knew. But the next morning, everything shifted. I woke to her voice. Not talking to me, but talking at the radio. Her tone sharp, urgent, controlled. "Repeat, this is Elena Vargas. We have one injured, one stable. Coordinates approximately." My blood ran cold. She turned and saw me behind her. The look on her face froze mid-word. "You didn't tell me the radio worked." "I wasn't sure it would," she said flatly. "And I didn't want to wait anymore." There was a pause. The unspoken thing between us suddenly felt thinner, brittle. I said, "Why did you lie?" Her jaw tightened. "It wasn't a lie. It just wasn't the right time." "You were going to leave without saying goodbye?" "It's not goodbye," she snapped. "It's reality." I stepped closer, voice low. "You wanted this. You felt this. And now I'm choosing to live with it." That hit harder than it should have. My hands curled at my sides. So that's it? We go back and pretend nothing happened. Elena, I said, softer now. What are you so afraid of? But before she could answer, the radio spoke back. Male voice. Clear. Copy that, Ms. Vargas. Chopper dispatched. ETA 20 minutes. She closed her eyes. Let the wind blow through her hair like she needed something else to focus on. And then, like a switch had flipped, she turned to me. Eyes colder, posture tighter. You don't tell anyone what happened here, she said. Elena, not your friends, not your coworkers, not anyone. This doesn't follow us home. I stared at her. The distance she was forcing between us was brutal. I couldn't tell if she was ashamed or scared, or both. You're not the only one who had someone listening, I said bitterly. That got her attention. She blinked. What? I took a breath. When I climbed the ridge yesterday, I found a signal. My phone buzzed. 1 bar, but enough. I got a message. Her face paled. It was from your son. Now she looked like she couldn't breathe. I continued. He asked if you were okay. Said he tracked the flight path. Said he had a bad feeling. And he knew. I was with you. She sat down slowly, like her legs couldn't hold her anymore. Does he know about us? She whispered. I shook my head. Not yet. But he knows something. She looked out toward the ocean, distant, haunted, and I could see it in her expression. The cost of everything we hadn't even done yet. The sound of the chopper grew louder. It was small, just a blur above the tree line, but it shattered the quiet we'd lived in, ripped straight through the strange, suspended world we'd built on the island. Elena stood beside me at the shoreline, arms folded, jaw tight. We hadn't spoken since I told her about the message. Her son knew I was here. He might know everything. And suddenly, the fantasy had an expiration date. I should have told you about him earlier, she said quietly, eyes fixed on the sky. I didn't because I didn't think this would happen. This? I asked. You mean us? She didn't answer. Elena, I said, stepping in front of her. Don't shut down now. Not after everything. Her mouth trembled. She looked away. I don't know how to want something and not ruin it, she said. I don't know how to be with someone without thinking 10 steps ahead and ending up alone anyway. I swallowed hard. You're not ruining anything. We both wanted this. We both crossed the line. But I'm the one who's supposed to know better. And I'm not some lost kid, I snapped. I knew what I was doing when I fell for you. She blinked. The words just sat there between us, raw and irreversible. She said almost bitterly, You'll hate me for this one day. You'll be 35, look back, and realize I was a mistake you made when you didn't know any better. I stepped closer. Or maybe I'll be 35 and still remember the woman who finally made me feel seen. And wish I'd fought harder. Her breath hitched. The chopper hovered now. Minutes away. I held her eyes. My voice dropped. I don't need you to promise me forever. I just want you to be honest with me now. Do you feel something for me or not? She didn't answer. Not with words. She just walked forward. Fast. And kissed me. Not gentle. Not controlled. Not safe. It was messy, desperate, aching. A kiss that felt like it carried everything we'd been too afraid to say. Her fingers in my hair. My hands around her waist. Her breath shivering against my mouth. When she finally pulled away, her eyes were wet. I'm terrified, she whispered. But I'm done pretending I'm not. The chopper circled overhead. She took a shaky breath and stepped back. When they land, I don't know what happens next. But this, she touched her chest. Then mine. This was real. I nodded, barely able to speak. Yeah, it was. We stood side by side as the chopper descended, wind whipping around us. She didn't hold my hand, but she didn't step away either. And in that moment, with everything uncertain, we finally understood each other. They flew us out in silence. I sat across from her in the chopper, our knees nearly touching. She didn't speak, just stared out the small window like the ocean might still pull us back. I kept stealing glances, trying to memorize the way she looked right then. Hair windswept, eyes distant, mouth slightly parted like she was holding something back. Maybe we both were. No one asked questions. No one mentioned the days we'd been missing. The pilot offered water, a headset, small talk. But the real noise was inside us, loud and private and tangled. Back on land, everything felt too sharp, too real. The clatter of phones, flashing lights, her assistant running toward her, my boss calling my name. The spell broke in stages. We were Elena and her junior again. Two lines never meant to cross. I waited by the terminal. She came over, sunglasses on, lips tight. "I'm going to say this once," she said softly, "because once is all we get." I held still. "You didn't imagine it. I meant it. Every look, every touch, every stupid silence that said more than it should have." She paused. "But I need to protect the life I've built." I nodded, even as something inside me cracked. "Will I see you again?" I asked. She hesitated. "You'll move on faster than you think," she said. "And one day when you're somewhere else with someone who makes sense, you'll remember this, and it'll just be a beautiful wrong turn." "I don't want it to be a wrong turn." "I know," she whispered. "That's what makes it real." Then she stepped forward. No kiss this time, no dramatic gesture. Just a quick, firm press of her hand to my chest, like she was grounding herself, like she was saying goodbye without saying goodbye. She turned, walked away, and didn't look back. A few months passed. I still think of her sometimes. Mostly when it's quiet. Mostly when I catch myself looking for her name in my inbox. She never wrote. I don't hate her for that. I work in a different office now. New department. Same company, but far enough away that I don't have to pretend I don't see her. They said she took some leave. Came back quieter. Sharper. Like something had reminded her how breakable things really are. One night, a message came. "I saw you in the lobby today. You look well." That made me smile. Just that. No signature. I didn't reply. I didn't need to, because I know we had our moment. Brief, stolen, unforgettable, and sometimes that's enough.